Hey, has anybody seen my drill? Oh, there it go. Oh, hey, what's up? Sorry, didn't have time to do the monologue. Putting together in addition to the Every Woman set, and Dr. Rose's interview was so good it ran over a little bit. So I'd rather not take up too much time telling jokes. We'll do a monologue another time. This is Late AF with Dean Beanz. Enjoy the show. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Welcome to another show. Oh man, so somehow mysteriously, I got inboxed from who? I don't know, Mom. It was a entrepreneur's advertisement on Instagram, and it was a juice company. And when I clicked the page, I saw that it was a very young entrepreneur that has a juice that is healthy. And he is juggling school and his business way younger than I ever thought about doing it. So I want all of y'all to meet Vince of Experiment Juice. What's up, man?
What's up? How are you?
I'm trying to be like you when I grow up. How old are you?
I'm 11.
You 11, and how long have you been in business?
3-4 months now.
3-4 months.
Yes.
Are you ready to buy a Bentley?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, you making that much money?
Oh no.
No. Oh, you're ready, but not financially ready.
Yeah.
How long you think it's gonna take?
Less than a year.
Less than a what? You want a partner?
Sure.
Man, look here. So what? You're 11 years old. When I was 11 years old, I wanted a G.I. Joe. You know what a G.I. Joe is?
Ain't that the little bald head lady?
No, G.I. Joe was a toy. It was like an action figure. Do they even have action figures now? What do y'all play with? Just video games, that's it?
I used to like little toy wrestlers. I used to like WWE.
Okay, so imagine your WWE Rock having a bunch of camouflage and guns and bullets on them. That was G.I. Joe.
All right.
Okay, cool. So at 11 years old, I was playing G.I. Joe. You wanted to be a boss. You wanted to be an entrepreneur. What got you? What made you want to do it?
So originally, I was selling snacks at school. I really like making money for myself.
Okay.
So like, my mom was like, if you like this, you really need to step it up a level. So I really wanted to, and it just kept building up. And
was juice your first idea?
Oh no.
Because you were selling candy. You know, candy is like crack, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So what made you say, and candy is unhealthy.
Oh, definitely.
So what made you go from unhealthy to healthy?
So my favorite juice used to be Hawaiian Punch, but
diabetes in the bottle.
Yeah. It tasted real good, but I didn't like the stuff that made it taste good.
Okay.
Had red 40, high glucose syrup, all that bad stuff in it. So I was like, since I want to start a business, why shouldn't I make healthy juice? Like, I put 2 and 2 together. I'm like, this could take off.
I'm still stuck on the ingredients of Hawaiian Punch. What you say they was?
Red 40, yellow 5, high glucose syrup. Yellow 5 has been tied to cancer and all these horrendous diseases.
Holy cannolis. And you knew that. How long you been 11?
Since February.
So you were fresh 11 and you knew that. You read the ingredients?
Yeah, I do.
Wow.
Since I've known that, I read the ingredients on everything. I stopped eating Skittles. I mean, it has all those, like yellow 5, yellow 6, which I think it's a darker one. It got caramel color. That's in Doritos. Doritos is the worst chip you can ever eat.
You killing my favorite snack.
Yes, I am.
What's wrong with Doritos, man?
Man.
I thought I was doing better.
Oh, no. Definitely not. If you're eating Doritos.
I'm going to die.
If you keep eating Doritos,
Okay, no more Doritos. What's wrong with
no
them?
more. All right. It has both yellow 5 and yellow 6 and caramel color all together. And it has high fructose syrup.
In Doritos?
Yeah.
Okay, that's bad stuff on Doritos and Hawaii Punch. What's the health facts on your juice?
So it's all fresh watermelon juice, and I think watermelon is better than water. Definitely. Because, like, it tastes good, and it's hydrating. It's really hydrating. Everyone I've seen drink it is just happy. I mean,
You got happy juice. I call that liquor. You got alcohol in there?
Oh, no.
Okay,
What makes you happy is serotonin that's in your brain.
agreed. So it's straight watermelon juice.
Straight watermelon juice.
So when watermelon is out of season, where do you get it from?
Watermelon hasn't been out of season since I started, so I don't really know where to go from that.
So do you see yourself making new flavors, or maybe coconut water or something like that?
You know what? I envision a pumpkin juice, but I don't think that would taste good.
A pumpkin juice? Well, certain races might like it.
You for real?
Yeah, you know, black people, we favor sweet potatoes, and white people favor pumpkin. You ever had a pumpkin pie at your Thanksgiving?
You know what? Something about me, I don't eat the pie.
You don't eat pie?
No.
Why?
I just never liked it.
Any pie? Apple pie?
Apple pie is just gooey. It's weird. It's just
Peach
weird.
cobbler?
Okay, maybe a little piece.
Maybe a little peach cobbler.
Okay.
Bread pudding?
I ain't never had that one.
You ain't never had it?
Banana pudding or something I'd go for. With them little Nella cookies.
Yeah, now you talking. Man, I'm coming to your house on Thanksgiving. When you said, all right, Mom, I got it. I'm doing juice. How did she respond?
She was actually all in for it. She said she would even invest.
Really?
Really?
What was the initial investment? How much money was initially put in?
About $200.
$200.
Yeah.
So you're buying ingredients. You figured out where to buy the bottles from. You had to
Yeah.
get your labels. Okay, what's the marketing plan? How did you market it?
So, like, my mom, she has, like, the Instagram and TikTok and everything. So she was going to put it on there and make some accounts for it.
Wow. And it just started going.
Yes.
When do you replenish?
So when we run out, we usually, like, 2-3 day break. Gotta, like, getting all the ingredients and see if everything is right. So then we go. We were at the Fresh Market and Westbourne. We were kind of like mixing. We stopped going to Westbourne because they kept running out.
They kept running out
Yeah.
of watermelon.
Yeah, seedless watermelon. I don't do the seeded watermelons.
Right.
I don't do the seedless. That's genetically modified.
Oh, no GMO juice.
No.
So there's a grocery store, and I'm going to butcher the name. It has a very Italian name. I call it the Villaggio, but it's not called that.
You go to Honeybee Lacoma?
Nope.
That's what's called? Wow.
No, it's called Sal Manila. I don't know. I don't know the name of it. I don't know. Okay, so you're making money at 11. You're not buying G.I. Joes because you don't know what G.I. Joe is. No more wrestling action figures. What you spending the money on?
So I always reinvest almost all of it back into the business. But every now and then, I'll take a little 20 out for myself.
Just a 20?
Yeah, just 20.
A 20 out of what?
Out of the money we've made from the juice.
If you made $1,000, how much money would you take out for yourself?
100.
You take 10%.
Yes.
That's pretty good. And the rest you reinvest, or do you save?
All of it.
All of it reinvest?
All of it. I'm going all in. I have high hopes for this.
High hopes?
High hopes.
You ever heard of diversifying your investment?
Nope.
No? So this is when you heard of the phrase, don't put all your eggs in one basket?
Nope.
No? Okay, I'm going to teach you something real quick.
All right.
So you got a business. That's one stream of income. That's what that's called, what you have right now, one stream of income. When you diversify, you get another stream of income. it might not be something that you necessarily work like you're working the juice. It might be a stock that you invested in, or another company you invested in, or maybe you got some t-shirts that's doing drop shipping where people are online buying your t-shirts or whatever. Or maybe somebody might want to pay you to come and talk to other kids. That's diversifying the way you make money. So if something ever slows down, something else is still going.
Have a plan B.
And C, D, E, F, and G. And if you want to, H.
Okay.
It makes sense. Trust me.
Yeah.
So when your juice is going, think other stuff. So how big do you see this juice going?
See, I want to be humble, so I won't put it all the way at the top, because obviously there's, say, Simply, there's also Fago and all that.
Well, Simply and Fago is not doing what you're doing. You make healthy juice.
Oh no.
Well, their orange juice is pretty yummy, but you about to tell me it's bad, ain't you?
You know what? I want to download the app on your phone. It's called Bobby Approved.
Bobby Approved?
Yep.
Okay.
You scan the barcode, it has a little scanner. It'll tell you if it's Bobby Approved or not. It'll even show, I think it'll show you ingredients. I don't know if it'll do all that.
Wow. And how long has this app been out? How long did you know about it?
My dad taught me about it because he's kind of sick, but like he wants to get better, and he found out about the app. But I saw him scanning something. I'm like, what app is that? And he told me all about it.
So there's no sugar in your juice?
A little bit of added sugar and the lemonade.
Okay.
But that's all.
That's it? Everything else is fruit?
Yes.
Wow. So do your friends, do they say, we rather get your juice than go to the store?
Nah.
No. So who do you sell to mainly?
I go out to Easter Market. I know you gotta pay for a spot there. Okay. But I just take a cooler and I roll it around.
And you sell out every time?
Every time.
Wow.
Every time.
Can I borrow $1?
I don't got $1 on me right now.
Damn, I thought you had some of that 10%. So pretty much, if somebody wants to get your juice, they either need to hit up Mom or meet you at Easter Market on what day?
It's really complicated because I got all types of school, got advanced school.
Advanced school?
Oh, no, I got events at school.
Oh, events.
Yeah.
So how are you juggling all of this?
I'm organized. I remember a lot of things. Like, I just bounced back from another school. I'm going to Davidson now. That school is big. Real rich school. They got slushies there.
They got slushies?
Yeah.
So now you're competing with the slushies? Or you like slushies?
I like slushies.
So you like some unhealthy stuff?
Yeah, of course.
In moderation?
In moderation. I wouldn't eat a honey bun, a pack of Starburst, and Skittles in one day. That's just...
You just ration them out?
Yeah, I would eat one healthy thing a month, really.
Is your favorite honey bun Hostess or Little Debbie's?
Oh, Hostess all the way.
Hostess?
Yeah, them iced honey buns.
Little Debbie gang, son.
Oh, no.
No? My God.
Them zebra cakes is mid, too.
Okay, man. I want to taste the juice, man. What do you got?
All right, we got watermelon lemonade, our best seller.
Watermelon lemonade.
Yes, sir.
Why the name Experiment Juice?
Because you have to experiment with your juice. You got to make sure it's right every time. Every time.
You make sure it's right every time.
I do.
All right, man. Get you a juice, too.
I can't drink the product.
Don't get high on your own supply. Biggie Smalls. Rest in peace. All right, here we go. I'm not even lying. This is really good. My God.
Right, I understand.
Okay. What narcotic did you put in here?
No narcotics.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
Because this tastes like you put some crack in it.
No.
Like, this is really good. Miguel, this juice is good. My God. You just made the recipe up?
Oh yeah, I wrote it down in a notebook.
And you figured out the proportions and everything? How long did it take you to figure it out?
Our first time, I had kiwi. I even wanted star fruit. You know what that is?
Yes.
Star fruit is really good.
I've never had it before.
No.
It looked like it'll bite me.
It tastes like an orange and an apple. It's really good.
Really?
Yeah.
You gotta peel it? I know that's probably a stupid question, but I've never had it.
You don't gotta peel it.
You just bite the star fruit?
Yeah. You don't even gotta cut it. Just go ahead. That's all you got to do.
Okay, I'm gonna get the star fruit. This juice is really good. I want you to look into this camera here. Tell everybody about your juice, where they can get it, and whatever else you want to say.
So you can always DM us on Instagram. We can deliver it right straight to your house. You can also hit us up on TikTok. I don't know if it's a messenger system or not, but you can always leave a comment, and we're working to get in some more stores.
There you have it. Listen here, and my juice is gone. I want another one. I'm gonna buy them though. How much are these juices?
$5 a bottle.
$5 a bottle. How many bottles you got there?
1, 2, 3.
They're all sold. Make sure y'all hit up Vincent. Get you some experiment juice. I'm telling you, it's good. I'm not playing with you, and it's healthy. So that means I can be a fat boy and drink lots of them and not die. We'll be right back. We got Dr. Rose coming in. We got a BoothTop Performance. Thank you very much for coming, sir. I appreciate you. Much success to you. This is really good.
Bigger and better. Yo, y'all know what it is. We every woman up in here. We going on season 3. This is bigger and it's better. You know why? Because the personalities are bigger. The energy is bigger, and we out here. When I say we out here in these streets. We having fun, we running around. So y'all get ready, cause 3 is loading.
Look, yeah.
We are back. We are back with a very special guest. Every time I have a conversation with this woman, I say, why are the cameras not on? So today the cameras are on. We have psychologist Dr. Rose in the building. How are you?
Woo-hoo. I am good. It's my pleasure to finally be here.
Right, like
in the hot seat.
In the hot seat. And I'm about to put you in the fire. So I've been getting irritated for the past few months.
Okay.
And this has been going on for even longer, but I just reached my point to where the internet is just working my nerves because everybody is a damn therapist. Everybody's giving advice, and I keep hearing
bad advice,
generalizing advice, and 2 terms that I don't ever want to hear again. The energies, the masculine and the feminine energies. And it is just working my nerves. And my thing is, I feel like people don't realize that when it comes to love, relationships, human beings, it's like a tailored suit. It's made for you. There is no in general answer. So I wanted, because you understand the mind like no other, let's talk about that.
Okay.
So there once was a guy named Jackson, right? I don't know if you know, he was like one of the first ones.
Derek Jackson.
Derek Jackson. So this guy was really feeding women everything they wanted to hear, saying that it was always the man's fault.
And they loved it.
They was eating it up.
Not everybody. I'm a woman. But
right. Most of them.
A lot of women, millions of women loved it.
I used to go on a thread and be like, do y'all know he just juicing y'all up to get money from y'all? And they would get mad at me, right? And then turns to find out everything he was saying, he was doing to his wife.
That made him an expert.
That made him an expert.
An expert in the things you should avoid. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is true. I'm starting to feel like these internet. What do you call these people that are constantly just talking all the time?
Gurus, influencers.
Yeah.
And it always seems to be men who are giving the women the advice. I've
and
noticed.
Women giving the men. It's the opposite.
I don't know too many women. I don't know if it would go over as well with a woman doing it.
It does.
Okay.
So
you'll have to help me to some of the women out there doing it.
It is tons of women talking about the bad things that women do.
Okay, got you.
My timeline is full.
Okay.
And at first I was liking the stuff, and I was like, wait a minute, this is the same thing Jackson was doing.
Yeah.
To me, it feels like these people are taking the place of the bad ministers.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
You know, the bad minister would jump into your brain,
attract a lot of women to his congregation,
and say all of the things that you want to hear spiritually. You know, he's speaking to your spirit and making money off of you, buying Cadillacs, messing with women in the congregation. You know, it seems like it's the same thing, but people are less likely to go to regular church these days. This seems like this is their church, their spiritual ego stroke. You
don't have to leave the home to, pick up your phone and go hear one of these folks. You can be in your bed, you can wake up and hear it, you can go to bed and hear it. So it's easy. It's so, accessible to you at any given moment. So, that's part of the popularity.
So when you're watching this, because it's different when you watch it, because you fully understand what goes on in the psyche of most people. What do you see happening with society where all the advice is coming from a screen?
It's proof that we all are in search of. We all are in search of understanding, wanting to understand the whys of human behavior. But at the same time, and I talk about it in my book, most of us are cognitive misers. So what I mean by that is, you think of the word cognitive thought, right?
Right.
Misers means stingy. Most of us don't really want to put the thought into really analyzing the whys. We want an easy answer. We want a sensational answer. We want an answer that doesn't hold us accountable.
Right.
Okay? Because the gentleman, Derek Jackson, Action Jackson, whatever you want to call him that you're talking about, it was, more so putting, as you mentioned, the blame on the man, which women, especially if you, like most women, have been hurt or, have some history that didn't pan out well with a man, is exactly what you want to hear.
Right.
Not to necessarily put the accountability on you, but on the other person. Yeah.
Yeah. It's absolutely crazy to me. Like, I'm looking and I'm just like, these people believe in everything religiously. Like they religiously to the point I seen this was just the other day, I seen something where this guy was talking to a feminist. No, I'm sorry. It wasn't a feminist. It was she was in the LGBTQT rest of the letters community. And
a lesbian? Feminist?
She may have been a lesbian, but she was a part of that community.
Okay, gotcha.
She didn't say what she was.
Gotcha.
But the guy said, okay, so, what oppression have you seen? What, you're saying it's a lot of hate. What hate have you received? And she was like, oh, I see it all the time. And he said, okay, tell me, what hate have you seen? And she was like, well, actually, I guess it's kind of just in my head because I haven't experienced it myself. But she was out protesting and going crazy, and it's like she had never seen the stuff.
Never experienced any of the stuff that she's protesting for. Not that you have to, but it sounded like was more part of this whole fad for her.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like, that's a perfect word. Has people turned trauma into a fad?
The word trauma, we hear that word how often? And I'm a trauma specialist.
Exactly.
So you have to understand there's a lot of social media I don't even tune into. People say, you didn't see this or you didn't see that. a lot of things I have to step away from because I need to shut my brain down.
Got you.
There's so much misinformation that goes out here, and I'm never been of the ilk that I'm going to go on there and type and correct because I wouldn't get any work done. You know, it's not going to pay me any money to go on there
Right.
and correct all the misinformation that goes out. It's sad to see because again, there's so many people buying into that, sharing it, you know, using that as law now, the information that they're getting from
Yeah.
people who are not experts at all. You know, all of us who've been in relationship, we have some level of expertise if
Right.
we've been there. But really true expertise does not come if you haven't done the self-work. You know, what I see on social media is the majority of people want to point outward on whose fault it is as
Yeah.
opposed to looking inward. When you talk about Derek Jackson, I always question someone who claims to be an expert, but we never truly get a glimpse into their lives. And not to say whatever glimpse they're giving us is the truth.
Right.
But for me, you know, part of my whole platform is transparency.
Yes.
It's vulnerability because I know that there's strength there. And many of these individuals who have coined themselves or have been coined influencers or gurus, you know, they claim transparency, but there's no transparency there. It's really a lot of fear
A lot
in
of
letting
finger-pointing,
people, fear mongering also, but fear in letting people truly get the inside look of who they are. I find it just totally I love being able to put myself out there and open myself wide open, I should say, and really kind of do a in-depth analysis on, you know, what role do you play in here? How do you hold yourself accountable? Because I can't help the next person to understand their behavior and to make lasting change if I myself are not doing it. I don't suggest anything that I myself have not experienced or gone through or know firsthand through studies or personal experience
Right.
that this is a technique or a tool that could actually work for you.
Right. So I'm not a psychologist.
You sure?
I'm a psychologist.
You look
buff.
like a psychologist today.
Sit
Look
on my
at you.
couch.
Got your glasses, your psychologist glasses on.
I'm like a psychology buff.
Okay.
My son, he went to school for
Okay.
that, you know. So I say that's what he do, that's what you do. I just pay attention to people's personalities, and I kind of use that as interpersonal communication. I guess for me, it seems as if it is much easier to jump in somebody else's shit than handle your own shit. And to me, that's what I see a lot of. Everybody trying to solve everybody else's problems, but they really are afraid for their own problems. What is the big fear of self? Why are people so scared of themselves?
Because you have to face the things that you've been denying or you've suppressed for so long or that you've repressed for so long. I recently had a retreat in Costa Rica.
Okay.
And during one of the workshops, one of my wonderful facilitators, I love her, Dr. Shahira Stevens, she's an amazing, you know, woman in her 70s, spirit of somebody half her age, you understand? But she gave us an exercise where, you know, it was a soul processing exercise. And one of the requirements that she initially said right off the back was when a person, it's a group of women, because one of the things I noticed, there were women there that were truly transparent and could share, you know, open, honest. And then there's people who they want to give advice to everyone else for their, you know, because that's their defense. And, you know, I can avoid, and when I say I, meaning that person, they felt as though they could avoid really exposing themselves, which was a lot of fear inherent in that, by being a person that can offer advice to the others who are being transparent. And this is what causes a lot of the inability for us to even move forward and to grow in life. I tell people all the time, one of the best pieces of relationship advice, and when we talk about relationship, I'm talking intimate relationships, friendships, whatever relationship, is to be with individuals or surround yourself with individuals who are as committed to personal growth as you are. And this was 20 years ago, I got this advice, and it has resonated with me since. And I'm very intentional, the people I surround myself with.
Yeah.
I'm not looking for perfection. I'm not perfect. My friend groups aren't perfect. My partner isn't perfect. But what we are and what the people I choose to be around, we're growth oriented. We can call each other out on our shit, and we can call ourselves out on our shit. And there's people that just will never do that.
They will never, and they call those best friends.
What, that won't?
That won't. Like they say, I'm gonna ride with you whether you right or wrong.
No.
They feel
I'm
like
not that
that's
friend.
your best friend.
No, and I hear that.
Yeah.
Like, you either with me or without me. I will never, if you expecting that, I'm not your friend. I'm gonna tell you right now. I have 4 children. They're all adults now. I'm not that mother. No, not my kid. No, I'm gonna call you out if you are wrong with something. I'm gonna call myself out. But yeah, there's almost like this sense of glory and admiration that goes with, she down for whatever.
Yeah.
No, if you're wrong, call me out. I have a good friend of mine. We don't speak a whole lot because everybody has busy lives.
Right.
But we spent a large amount of time today on the phone. And I remember years ago, I was in a relationship, and I wasn't getting what I wanted from this relationship, but I knew it. We know it. You know. And, this is a friend I could be honest with because I know she's honest with me. That's another thing, Don't divulge and be vulnerable with people that are not going to do the same for you,
Right.
But, we could always be honest. So she knew the relationship or what have you. And I can remember this person I was dating did something for me. I don't know what it was. Maybe, bought me flowers, or it was, I don't know, sent me for a massage, whatever it may have been.
Right.
But it was like the way I was gushing about it. It may not have even been that, but the way I was to her, like, oh, because again, when you're lacking something, anything, if you're thirsty, a drip of water tastes good, right?
Yeah, right.
And so I remember, speaking to her and saying, guess what, and he did this and he did that, and she's listening, and she looked at me, she said, oh, so we celebrating mediocrity now, huh? And look at your face. And I was like, oh shit. Like, there was no anger. You hear what I'm saying?
Wow.
There was no, she's hating, because I know it had nothing to do with her being a hater or anything like that. She told me exactly what I needed to hear. And it really was like that jolt, that punch in the gut that I needed, because I knew whatever it was. And again, I said flowers or massage. It probably wasn't even that. You understand? But whatever it was, I was so starved for some type of, reciprocity that little crumb that I got, I made a big deal out of. And she kind of, in her words, kind of slapped me back into reality, which is what I needed at that time. The relationship, of course, didn't last, but I appreciated that.
Yeah.
And fast forward a few years after that, she was in a similar situation.
You got to give it to her too?
I gave those words right back to her.
Exact same words?
Exact same words.
Wow.
And she was like, you're right. You're right. We have to be willing to, look at the truth for what it is, as opposed to trying to, like you just said, Derek Jackson saying things that people want to hear. That is not a friend that just tells you things you want to hear.
Right.
A friend is someone who wants to see you being treated the best you possibly can be treated, being honest with yourself, and being okay when you are giving it to her or giving it to each other the way it needs to be given.
Yeah. Those people like that, I feel like they're not seeking advice. They're not looking for help. They're just looking for confirmation on what they feel. And whenever I see people like that, don't ask me nothing, because if you just want me to agree with you, it's no point in talking to me.
It's almost like if I get enough people to agree with me, then it has to be true, even if it's not true. I mean, we see this in presidential elections of the last, right?
Oh man!
You don't have to tell the truth. You just have to get people to buy into what you're saying. Yeah,
exactly. And it's the worst thing, smoking. And to me, all of this equates into so many people not finding the kind of love that they really need. You know, they just end up by themselves. Speaking of being by yourself, we're gonna take a break for the BoothTop Performances. So this is where we have artists go on the rooftop and they perform songs.
Oh, wow.
And it's really dope. So we're gonna bring Nappy Devi to the BoothTop. He's singing a song called Bliss, where he's talking about loving himself.
I love it. Let's go.
Nappy Devi, Detroit. Shit, me and music been close ever since I can remember. Music been my ace-born coon since I was in the womb, you know. My mama been listening to Earth, Wind & Fire, Michael Jackson, Prince, Shaka Khan, Aretha since, you know, the first steps. So this all that makes sense to me.
Yes. Okay, now you're good, right? We've been here the whole night. No words said, just cold ice in my cup. I just might say, how you been? What you doing? Where you been? Who you screwing now? Oh, now wait a minute. I don't wanna know the shit, and now you wanna spill your mouth. No time to clean up your messy words. Hey, say I just wanted you to hit me up first, but no way, and I'm singing okay now. You're good, right? We've been here the whole night. No words said, just cold ice in my cup. I just might go love myself. Hey, oh, I make time for me. Oh, hey, and I'm singing like black, molasses, so sweet to me. Hey, but loving your heart, give me scars. Why is it that pain don't go so easily? I swear you're not the same, and you'll say I'm who to blame. Yeah, right, call me when something changed. Till then, you're just another stranger. Okay, now you're good, right? We've been here the whole night. No words said, just cold ice in my cup. I just might go love myself. Hey, oh, I make time for me. Oh, hey, and I'm singing okay now. You're good, right? We've been here the whole night. No words said, just cold ice in my cup. I just might settle for dark nights and level minds. Hearts might be stolen, but that don't mean that I'll give you mines. I'm still picking up the pieces. Hardly got along cause the trees in season. Falling from the last rush, two hits. Goddamn, I done had enough of your loud tongue. Don't bite it. Such cold words may heat his soul like our sun in the night shift. When the lights go out, are we supposed to sit around wasting time? Or should we do as we are told when energy is so divine? If it ain't, what's the point of holding on? Okay, now you're good, right? We've been here the whole night. No words said, just cold ice in my cup. I just might go love myself. Hey. Yeah, I feel like that was my last take. I feel confident about that.
Okay, we are back. That was dope. You're going to see one of those every show, so make sure y'all tune in. And we even have more BoothTops than we have shows. So just make sure y'all tuning in to every TV Plus on YouTube to see everything we got to offer. Every woman show's coming up. Blah, blah, blah. Back to this, because I really want to talk about this. So, I have my certain things that I tell couples that they have to know about themselves and about the next person before they could really just say, okay, this is it, this is us, we're doing this. You got to know these things. One thing is how you love, how you receive love, how you need love. Yeah, those three things. How do you love? So how do you give love?
How do you give love?
How do you receive it?
Your love languages, because that can encompass both.
Yeah, and how do you need it? I really don't like the love language thing because it puts it in these certain categories and that's it. And I just think it's more, I think it's a gray area.
Yeah, it is gray area. It's not static. So don't think of those as you acts of service and that's it.
Yeah.
You know, but you do have predominant ways of showing and predominant preferences on receiving. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so those are my things that I say people need to have. You got to know how you love, because let's say how you love is not how somebody needs to love. You know, y'all either going to clash or y'all need to find a common ground or some kind of understanding. You know, how do you receive love? I know some people, when you compliment them, it kind of makes them feel uncomfortable. You ever notice that? Well, in the love department, what if certain affections or something makes this particular person uncomfortable?
Yeah, yeah.
Or what if they just need those certain things? So you got to kind of know how you receive it. And I said,
how you give,
how you love,
how you
receive, and how you need it. So all of those things, I think if you don't know that about yourself, you can't translate it to the next person, and you don't know that information from the next person, you're probably gonna have some problems.
Oh yeah,
somewhere down the line.
Yeah, I think most relationships don't end, marriages or just partnerships don't end for the reasons most people think they end. They end because the people don't take the time to know themselves.
Yeah,
yeah, and you and the selection process is off. And even if you do select a great partner, if you're not doing the work again to understand yourself and others, it's not going to fare, the way that you want to. But I'll add another one to that.
Okay.
What needs or wants did your parent or parents not meet that you're expecting your partner to?
Please explain that one.
So, whatever area, whatever during the developmental stages of childhood, adolescent, young adulthood, whatever areas that your parents may have failed in, showing you consistent love, not being dependable. But we can go on and on. Whatever it is that you lacked in those developmental stages from your parents, unless you've done the work, these are going to be things you're expecting your partner now to fill those gaps in.
Wow.
And a partner can never do it.
Because they can't be mama.
They can't be. And I hate to use the word. No, I don't. I'll use the word hate. Because I hate to see statuses where it was like, I was broken, but you fixed me, or I'm here to, like you choose a partner that's going to fix your brokenness.
Right.
Like that's the most toxic.
It don't work. Like one of my, when people say, what do you look for in a woman? My number one answer is happy.
Yes.
That's my number one answer, because I've been with unhappy women before, and when they're unhappy and they're happy around you, you are their happiness.
Yeah.
And that only lasts like cocaine. It don't last that long.
That's a tall order. Well, I don't know how long cocaine lasts, but I'm going to assume that.
Not long. I've never had cocaine.
I can't relate.
Never had it. But
let's just get that clear.
It's a short high. Like that's why they chase it so much, because they keep constantly. They constantly need that fix.
But guess what? But that's what they did not get from their parents. Again, this goes back to when I work with couples. I worked with more couples ever. I had more couples on a waiting list that I was working with at the same time ever during the pandemic than ever before.
Okay.
In my this is my 25th year of practice.
They had to stay home with each other.
They had to stay home with each other. You could not avoid it by staying at the office longer. You couldn't avoid it by going to the bar afterwards. You couldn't avoid it by going to your side chick or your side guy house anymore. You were right there with the person you've been coexisting with but avoiding.
Yeah.
You know. And so they knew they needed help. So they were coming to me. But 9 times out of 10, the needs that a person said, he's not doing this, or he's not doing that, or she's not doing this, or she's not doing that. When you really evaluate it and analyze it, you find out whatever that is something that the parent did not give that child, that you needed in your childhood. You just said you look for happy. I'm the same way, right? My default is happiness. I tell people my default setting is happiness. I was, and didn't realize it until I became an adult, honestly, and became an adult, and now I have a kid and I'm getting married, you know, didn't realize it till years even after that the experience I had seeing 2 people who loved each other, being in a household where I received love, I received validation from my father, right? I thought that was the norm. I thought that was the norm, and that's what everyone had.
Yeah.
And so to become an adult and then later a therapist, to see all these individuals, even now, you know, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond, who never received that validation from daddy. What you think they're going to be looking for in that mate? Because I had a father, some of the things I remember, both my parents are deceased now, but the legacy they left, you know, it will last forever. But to have a father who's telling you from a very young age, you can do anything you want to have a father, you know, that you put your mind to have a father at a very young age who, I was a daddy's girl, right? Yeah. So I was waking up 5 o'clock in the morning with him going fishing on our boat. Oh, wow. Or I was out of 4 kids, I was daddy's girl. So I would go driving with him. He, you know, statute of limitations over, and he's not here. But he'd be like, Rose, pour me a little toddy for my body. He kept his little liquor. He had this conversion van with a little refrigerator. Okay, daddy, and I'm in there pouring it, and you know, I'm riding with my dad.
Y'all best friends.
We were best friends. You know, that was my ace beaucoup. Had our own personal little handshake or what have you. So when I started dating and getting in relationships, and my father, when I was 12, had a massive stroke that wiped him out. So let's just say dementia. Couldn't walk. He was changing my diapers. I was now changing his diapers at this age, right? Okay. So I had the opportunity to have strong dad and dad I had to take care of. I had dichotomies. Yeah. As I started to become an adult and get in a relationship, I was noticing I was picking partners that either represented strong dad or the dad I had to take care of. Wow. You know? And I didn't realize this until I started doing my own work well into my early 30s, you know, years after I had become a therapist. Right. But I, you know, one of the things that I could fall back on is even in these relationships where I wasn't getting what I, you know, needed. I didn't, you know, act out. I didn't, you know, just play this game of manipulation to try to get the attention or validation I needed. I left. And I would always say, when I'm gone, I'm gone. Yeah. The guys I dated never believed that because they were so used to women who, for most of their life, either never got the love for dad, didn't know dad, or dad would promise he's showing up, not show up, you know, so it's like this reward system that, you know, they're waiting, they don't know, even if you're not getting it consistently, they're going to keep coming back because at some point you're going to get it. And so the benefit that I felt I got from that experience in those formative years with my father is to love myself enough to know that I have some value. And if this other person is not recognizing that,
they ain't ready,
they're not ready. I don't have to stick around. Right. I don't, and I'm okay with that.
And that comes from having a good upbringing.
Having a good upbringing. And so when you miss out on that. It's not to say, and I hope everyone watching this understands this, it's not to say if you didn't have that experience, because we know a great deal of people didn't have that
Right.
experience.
It's always an exception.
Yeah, it's not to say that you just shit out of luck. You'll never be able to experience that or gain this ego strength or this sense of self-love to do that. It just means you got to recognize
You got work to do.
The work to do. You got to recognize the impact and effect that the faulty parenting, faulty conditioning has had on your life and continues to have on your life, and know that there's work you can do, tools you can do. That's what I do. I have a 7-system step to personal transformation. There are tools, there are things you can challenge yourself in so you don't have to fall victim to that again and again and again. I think relationships should be, we have to work at it like you work at anything else.
Yeah.
But I think they can be the most amazing experience to help you even grow and experience life at a level you never imagined you can experience it at. But it has to be two people who are committed to growth.
I feel like, the funny thing about love, I'm going to say love and sex. I'm going to put both of these in the same category, love and sex. If you want to be a therapist, you got to get your degree, right? Probably got to do undergrad stuff too, like get a master's or whatever. If you want to be...
And a legitimate degree.
A legitimate, right. If you want to be a skills tradesman, you have to get the training to do so. If you want to be, well, we can't say the president because all you got to be is 35 and from here. Let's leave the president out of there. But for most professions, you either have to have a degree or some type of training in that.
Training, certification, all of that, yeah.
But in the Department of Love and Sex, they expect you to be a professional right off the rip. And, it's not like we're growing up, we're not really taught relationship stuff. We're just taught basic stuff, a little bit about sex. This is what chivalry is. These are some don't do's, and that's it. It's never about communicating, arguing, disagreements, yada, 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 living with somebody, merging lives, money, finance, joint accounts. We don't talk about none of that stuff, but we expect the second you're in, you say, I'm committed, you gotta be a professional. So the second you do something that's considered wrong to one of the parties, it's like the whole world just caved in.
Yeah.
Well, you really got to realize this person is one, still learning love, still learning you, still probably learning themselves 9 times out of 10. Why is it do we just expect such perfection out of each other?
Well, and then you said, we're taught this or we're taught that. Most of us aren't taught anything, right? And even if you are taught, even if you had a parent to say, you got to do X, Y, and Z, it's not the teaching that sticks, it's what we observe, right? So what was your observation? One of the questions I ask people all the time, what was your first example of love?
That's a good question.
What was your first example of love?
My first example of love.
In the romantic sense.
In the romantic sense.
See how hard that is?
Because it's like, how you think that's what it is?
Don't analyze it.
Don't analyze
Tell me what look, I'm going to cross my leg. I'm going to meet you where you at. So tell me what was your, first example. Not what you know now, right? But when you were young and you saw, and we're going to assume heterosexual, right?
Absolutely.
But when you saw a man and a woman together that were, the first memory of that, be it your mom and dad or whomever.
And I said, that's love.
And you said, that's love. What did it look like?
I'm going to have to be really honest with you. A lot of my friends had mom and dad at home, but everybody kind of looked like they was living together, not loving together. So I would have to say my first example was probably my imagination or TV, Cosby Show.
Ooh, do you know how often I get that answer?
All the time?
All the time. Cosby.
Yeah, Cosby Show.
And we see what he. But anyway, look. But yeah,
Yeah.
do you know how often I get that response from people who have been in 1 or 2, 3 marriages, people who have children now, people who are in relationships now? What was your first example of love? Oh, Claire and Cliff Huxtable. And it's like, you kidding me, right? They're not kidding me. That
Yeah.
was their first example. Fictional characters that they could see once a week on TV on a scripted program.
Mm-hmm.
That was their first example.
The Cosby Show, we're not talking about post Cosby.
We're talking about the fictional character.
The
Cliff
Cosby
Huxtable.
Show was like, man, I wish to have a family like that. They sung together, they cracked jokes when they had problems. They didn't just go off.
Yeah.
They had like these constructed lessons, like when Theo was like, I want to be on my own, and they made him have an apartment in the house.
Yeah.
Like, I thought all of that was so cool.
It was.
So, and the way Cliff and Claire, their chemistry together, you could see the love.
Yeah.
He was always excited about her.
Yeah.
No, I didn't see that in real life.
I saw it.
Wow.
I experienced it until my dad had his stroke.
Mm-hmm.
But for 12 years, I saw that. I experienced it. I thought it was the norm.
Wow.
And it wasn't until, again, I got into adult relationships
Mm-hmm.
that I'm thinking, this is how it goes. And that's not what I'm getting. It was almost, I had one husband. I tell people I was married. I was married 1.5 times, right? Because the second one was really quick.
Okay.
For reasons we could, just Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde,
Get
totally,
outta here.
get out of here. Because what did I say? I'm not sticking around. People really think that I would. We put ourselves out here. She's not going to embarrass or shame herself by getting a divorce. Oh, you got me
Ain't
wrong.
no shame in that.
But I remember, and this is a perfect example, because this is what I saw. Saw my dad, and my mom in the corner, kissing on each other. Ugh, stop doing, y'all doing the oochie coochie. I remember
Right.
that, them going on vacation, leaving us with grandma, them singing, dancing. Matter of fact, right now at this moment, my son is one of the featured artists at the congregation for Detroit Design Month.
Oh, cool.
And he has 4 installations on the outside building, huge.
Wow.
I'll send you pictures.
Okay.
2 of them are my parents. And he says, this is a love I never saw, but space, the space still holds. It's a saying he has. I'll look it up because it was deep. The space still holds the things I missed in this. But he recreated pictures of my parents, of them, out and about and looking at each other, and you can see the love in their eyes and things of that sort. So this husband I had, I remember this was shortly, because again, I'm thinking what you just explained. Everybody wants this. Everybody wants that Claire Cliff, love, that chemistry, that you can see the mutual admiration and the reciprocity, the give and take and all that. And we were watching at this time, fast forward from the Cosby Show, Blackish.
Yeah.
And it was an episode of Blackish, and it was hilarious. One of the episodes where the kids were getting sick. And Dre, right? That was the main character.
Yeah.
Anthony Anderson character was trying to avoid his kids at all costs. It was comedic,
Yeah.
get away from me, hiding from them, because one by one, the family was dropping, getting sick. And then one scene, the kids come into the room and they jump in the bed with Dre and Bo. And it was just hilarious. And I started laughing. And I looked over at that time, my husband, and I said, oh my God. I said, remember as a kid when you would get sick and you get into bed with your parents? Because that reminded me of when I would do that.
No.
And he was like, no, that didn't happen to me. And he looked at me, he said, I'm sick and tired of hearing about your happy ass childhood. Look at you. I love your expression thing.
He literally said that to you?
He literally said that to me. And I looked like that. Like I was shocked. I was hurt. I was confused, confused. I'm sick and tired of hearing
About
about
your
your
happy
happy
ass
ass childhood. Yeah, yeah. And again, another example of a person who, you know, we all have our traumas, right?
Yeah.
Even in, like I said, for 12 years, I had this experience, but, you know, the trauma came at age 12 when I had to become a caregiver all of a sudden. All of that stopped,
Yeah.
you know. So I get it. I have my own shit from those years that I
But-
still deal with.
But damn, why try to take somebody else's joy?
Like joy on a comedic 30-minute,
Give me that joy.
sitcom.
Ah.
Look, give me that joy. But that was consistent in this relationship and others I found myself in. That was consistent with what I realized, you know, from my own personal experience. And I truly believe, Dean, that it's a blessing. I said this in an article I was featured in a few years ago. I feel it was a blessing that I did have that dichotomy of this wonderful, you know, childhood, loving, strong, stable foundation, and the one of having to be a caregiver, because now I can see both sides. I can understand the traumas that adults have in their adulthood, in relationships, you know, who never got any of that. I can understand the traumas that are inflicted upon people who may have gotten that, but now they finding themselves in adult relationships with people who didn't. And these people are, you know, there's almost like a envy that exists there, you know?
Yeah, I can relate to that.
Yeah.
So I was one of those people like didn't get that love growing up. Didn't have the family structure. Like even though it was people in the house, it just wasn't that at all. You know? I ain't gonna go into the story because it's a lot. But anywho, my friends, when they would have family gatherings, I would go over there and I would just sit in the corner. And I don't know, it didn't make me mad at them. I just used to watch I watched it like it was the Cosby Show, except I just didn't see the mommy daddy love thing.
Okay,
but
I
see family just hanging around each other, knowing each other, cousins, and everybody having fun, laughing. And I used to just watch. And I can say even to this day, I guess everybody handles that kind of trauma differently, because now I'm in a relationship and they got a whole family and it's a family gathering. I don't jump into it. You know, I kind of sit back in the cut and I
observe.
like to just watch. And I'm very protective of that. Like, I don't want to jump in it and ruin it because of whatever I might have got going on with me. So I don't participate in a lot of stuff. I just let me sit back and watch.
Yeah.
And I'm good, you know. I don't know if I'm good. Maybe that's the wrong word to use.
Because you know, as a therapist, I'm thinking like, what do you mean you good?
I sit back in the cut. Like I remember in a relationship, it's Christmas time, they buy everybody pajamas. Here you go, here's your pajamas. I'm like,
you wouldn't put them on?
Nah.
Why not?
I don't know. It's like, and love them.
Yeah.
Like great people, you know.
Did you feel like you weren't deserving? Did you feel like this would be a reminder of what you didn't get? I mean, there's so many possibilities.
And see, here's the thing about me. I be so geared on progress in life that when something feels like it's going to take me away from that, I'm like,
explain. Help me understand that.
So I've been around, but been around mental health issues a lot. You know, been in relationships with people with mental health issues.
Yeah.
I've had a child that's had them.
Yeah.
My best friend had mental health issues, and I didn't understand what that was until he died. And I'm like, oh, that's what would, wow. So I've been around it enough to where I seen the effects of how it's like when people are going through this depression, they seem to do the very things that keeps them depressed. So if I ever felt that, I was like, no, get out of here, because that is not going to be progressive.
Okay.
And I push anything that is going to degress me to the side, and I move forward. So I kind of fight through everything by doing things to be great.
Or avoidance.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
that almost sounds like avoidance to me.
Yeah.
I'm going to avoid even integrating myself in this experience.
Yeah. I remember somebody did something really nice for me.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, your friend would probably be like mediocre because it was so average and normal, but I had just never had it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I had been married before,
Mhm.
and had a 10-year relationship before, bought a house with somebody before, and had never had this. She took me to the spa,
Mm-hmm.
got me a facial.
Mm-hmm.
You
And
know,
that's not mediocre.
well, I don't know, because I'm listen, up until then, I wasn't used to getting gifts.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's not that long ago.
Mm-hmm.
So we go get us to the spa. I'm like, this is cool. I got a facial. Hey.
Yeah, yeah.
Then we go to a restaurant. She goes in, comes out with all of the food, my favorite food, sushi. Hey, this is great.
You being pampered.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Then we pull up to a hotel. She say, stay out here. Okay, I stay out here. She say, okay, come up. I come up. It is rose petals all over the room.
Oh.
It's a picnic on the table with the sushi, and then somebody showed up with a charcuterie board.
Oh, wow.
And it was so overwhelming, which is so weird for me. I bust out crying, and I'm not talking about like I ain't talking about the man tear.
Yeah, you talking about the woohoo, the
snot.
Yeah.
I had to go in the bathroom and get myself together.
Wow.
And I'm like, I don't know why the hell I'm crying like this.
No, I know why.
I came back out. I'm like, okay, I got myself together. I was like, you got me.
Yeah.
Cause I don't be crying like that.
Yeah.
And we chilling, good time. And it was a bubble bath with roses in it. We get in the bubble bath and I bust out crying again. I could not stop crying.
Wow.
I cried so much that the happy time never happened.
Y'all couldn't get to the happy time?
Couldn't even get to it because I was like, damn, that is
She put out
great.
all that attention and she couldn't even, like, you go put out tonight.
I
you
couldn't
don't
put
know.
out. I couldn't.
But what that was is, first of all, you just said, even talked about you wouldn't integrate, you wouldn't put on a pajama. You have conditioned yourself to suppress so much. You said you were in relationship, marriages, whatever, didn't get what you needed. You condition yourself to suppress your needs. You know, when you don't get what you truly want and you know you're not going to get it, you can either be depressed, like you said, which you don't want to, or you just keep moving. You keep moving. But the body keeps a score. You know that, right? So when she did all of that stuff for you, for the first time in a very long time, I don't know how long it was, probably maybe even forever.
Ever.
You were validated. And that feeling of being validated, you know, all those actions she did said, you matter. You're important. You're worth this.
Yeah.
And you had suppressed for so long that emotion of not having those needs met that it was like a dam bursting open.
Man, listen, glass case of emotion. Because, you know, I say this, I say this thing, and some women don't like that I say this. You probably gonna tell me I'm crazy too.
That's not a diagnosis, crazy, but go ahead.
Crazy is a horrible word. But you know how women, most women, a lot of women, mass majority, say they need reassurance. I personally hate that. I hate when you tell me you need reassurance. And
example.
It's not necessarily an example. It's just, you know, you have to keep reassuring that you love this person.
Okay, so they need reassurance as far as love, that you're loving me.
Yes.
In
I
words
don't like
or actions or what?
Whatever.
Okay.
I don't like that. I don't like it. And I don't know if I can speak for most men, but I'm going to say that they'll probably agree with me some. Men work like, if I'm here, all of the things I do for you is because I love you. Why the fuck do I got to reassure you that? You better know this shit. So I immediately, when I start talking to somebody, I was like, if you expect me to have to reassure you, that means you ain't paying attention. And it's not going to work.
This goes back to what you said earlier, knowing what you like to give, what you like to receive.
Yeah.
So there's some people who they want to receive that constant. And if that's something you can't do, then that's not the person for you,
Yeah,
right?
that has happened.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, but my thing is you are receiving it constantly.
But not in the way they want to.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I've had this conversation where, here, boom, example. Call on the phone. Hey, how you doing? What's going on? Have a small talk about nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I reached out, and the comment was, you know, what you're supposed to say is, you know, I got a busy day, but I just wanted to hear your voice and yada, 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 yada. And I'm like, I called you because I wanted to talk to you. Are we talking about anything? No.
Yeah.
So that means I just wanted to talk to you.
Yeah.
But you're not getting the romance novel version of it. And so what you're doing is you're denying the effort that the man is taking. And if it's one thing a man that will shut a man down is when he don't feel like he's appreciated.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like if I'm giving you something and you telling me I'm not giving it to you,
yeah,
fuck you.
Yeah. So you're in a way you're saying that shut some men down can shut some women down too,
Absolutely.
right? Because as a psychologist, one of the things I avoid is generalizing.
Yes.
This is how men do it. This is how women do it. Because we know there's so many variables.
Everybody's different.
Everybody's different. One thing I give all my couples, one thing I give all my clients is this quick personality inventory I developed, because everybody falls into one of 4 different personality types.
Mm-hmm.
We can carry a little bit of each one, but there are personality types that it's like they're going to always, they need that. They need you to be under them, touch them, you know, that constant reassurance. If they're not getting it, you know, it does not equate to love. Whereas your personality type could be, hey, I did X, Y, and Z. I cooked for you. I wanted the house clean, for you when you came home. I had your favorite music playing. You know, that's why it's important to understand not just your partner, but yourself.
Yeah.
Right? So the reason I give these, I can give a couple coming in this inventory that only takes 5 to 7 minutes to take.
Mm-hmm.
I can look at their results and I can tell you before they open their mouths what their problems are.
Oh, wow.
And what their issues are.
Wow.
Just by looking at the results of this 5 to 7 minute inventory.
You remember when they used to, before you got married, you had to go to marriage counseling?
I don't remember that.
We was kids.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
they have to do
that
that?
was
I don't
thing.
remember that.
Just like when we was in school, you had to have a job to graduate.
Yeah.
Way back in the day, you had to go to marriage counseling. And you know, with some religions, they still make people do that.
Although I shudder sometimes at people that go. Not to say I got pastor friends or religious friends, but
they ain't marriage counselors.
They're not necessarily marriage counselors. Yeah, because you know, it's so much more than. I remember what my pastor. Oh, you know what? I remember going when I married my children's father back in 1995. We did have to go. It was in the church.
Yeah.
But I remember the pastor looking at me, older man, saying, when your husband wants some, you know, that's the wifely duties. And, you know, I'm using his voice. And that's one thing, you don't ever have to tell me what that's assuming. His assumption was, as a woman, I didn't like sex, but I have to, you know, that was a far departure from who I am, you know, as a person. Like, one thing you never have to tell me is you gotta fulfill whatever, your wifely, womanly duties. I don't see it as that, but it was coming from this assumption that for the man wants sex, the wife doesn't want it, so this is going to be part of your counseling. I remember at the age of 23, I was too young to get married.
Right.
But I remember him saying that. I'm like, huh? You know, it was just so patriarchal, the way this whole counseling was presented to me. But I do remember at the age of 23, I explicitly told him when he said the vows that I did not want him using the word obey.
I've actually seen this is probably about a few weeks ago on the internet.
On the internet.
Some people get married and the guy said obey and she was like,
Yeah.
Move to the next word.
On to the next one.
Yeah, I think those are some very old words.
Yeah.
But they got a lot of meaning to them in today's time. You know, people didn't pay attention to that like they do now. You know, I honestly think that the average person, I have this analogy of relationships. The average bad relationship, I say relationships are like high heel shoes. So you go to the mall, and let's say you are a middle class person, so you kind of got to budget your money. You in the mall and you see these badass shoes, and you go, ooh, I want those. You see the price, you go, oh, nah, they on sale, but the price is still high. You know you can't get them that low, and you're not gonna get no shoes that look like that.
Yeah,
Them the only ones. And you like, man, and you just bite the bullet and you buy the shoes. Take the shoes home. You say, I'm going to the club. I'm gonna kill them in these.
Yeah.
You wait till y'all see me in these shoes, and you put them on, and they a little uncomfortable. You go, I just gotta break them in. So you walk around with them, take them off. You say, I'm gonna break them in. Just gotta wear them out a few times. And it's time to go out. You put them shoes on. You step out, your new outfit. You got your bad shoes on, and all your friends like, damn, where you get them shoes from? And you like, yeah, I got them from Macy's. Whoop, 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 whoop. And you walking around taking pictures. Everybody like, yeah, your shoes is dope. And then about 2 hours pass, your feet start to hurt. They hurt you. And you like, they ain't broke in yet. I'm gonna give it some time. So you tough it out that night. You just forget about it and you just keep on going.
Your toes going numb, but
toes
that's okay.
going numb. You just tough it out.
Yeah.
And then the next time you go out, you like, all right, I got another outfit to match them shoes. About to put my bad ones on. I love these shoes. They love me. We out. You go out 2 hours. They hurting you again. And you like, the third time you take a pair of flats with you because you know that you only got a window.
2 hours.
A 2 hour window
yeah.
with these shoes until they start hurting you. So next thing you know, every time you look at them shoes, you see hurt. So you put them in a closet. You keep them. You don't even give them away. Them shoes stay with you. And every so often you think about, let me put these mugs on. Let me put them on.
So who's the relationship? The shoes?
The shoe is the person that you wasn't supposed to be with in the first damn place.
Gotcha. Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
And you putting them away is what? You still with them?
You still with them.
Okay.
You still with them. You still looking at them, but you resenting them.
Yeah.
They didn't
fit from the beginning, but you tried to force it.
You know, your best friend might have fit them shoes better.
Yeah.
You know, them shoes was for somebody else. Yeah, they your size, but they ain't for how wide your feet is or whatever the condition is. And I see people doing that in relationships all the time.
And holding on to it.
Holding on to them.
Know how many people, women that have told me the relationship isn't working, but they'll say, I just don't want him going and find somebody else and then doing the stuff that I wanted him to do with me.
And so some of them don't want to meet new people. They don't want to start over.
They don't want to start over. But the whole ideal of you'd rather hold on to something that's not working because your fear is, and this is ego tripping for them too. The stuff I introduced them to, I don't want him going out there doing that stuff or introducing a new person. Who cares?
Right.
If he's doing that. You know, so you'd rather stay in something that you're not fulfilled in, that's not meeting your needs, to prevent this person you claim to love from going out there and maybe finding someone more compatible to them and being happy. Now, that's not love.
No, that's some bullshit. A lot of people don't want to see somebody happy. They want them happy with them. And if they're not with them, it's middle finger, get out.
They don't even necessarily want them happy with them.
They want them to make them happy.
I tell people, relationships only can exist if they are in harmony with each other. Now, understand this. Harmony does not mean good. I don't want people misconstruing this word harmony to think harmony means two people are happy.
Yeah.
Harmony means if you are a miserable person, you need your partner to be a miserable person too. If y'all both there, then you in harmony and y'all can stay together forever. But once some person starts doing the work, seeing the glass is half full, this other, and then they're looking at the other person like, hey, no, it's half full. The view is nice up here. If this person can't do this person gonna do everything in their power to pull this person, because we need to be in harmony. We need, that's frequency. If you're tuning your radio to 92.3, you can't be on 92.5. You may hear a little bit of the song, but it's not
gonna
clear.
Be a lot of static.
Yeah, we need to be on the same station. Or I can use the analogy again, Daddy's Girl. I remember he had a CB, certain stations.
My dad did too.
Right? So that would be fun. Breaker, right? But you got to be on the same channel to get that clear frequency with each other. So in partnerships, if you are, I told you earlier, my default setting is happy. And when I meet people, I wouldn't even go out with you if you weren't presenting yourself as your default setting is happy. So, it's moving. Oh, we both happy people. People can only operate outside of their true nature for so long, right? Before they need to just go back to their default setting because it requires too much. It requires too much energy for me to be miserable. It requires too much energy for me to be sad. For some people, it requires too much energy for them to be happy, for them to put on that front. So if that's not your default setting, you can't stay there for long. You've got to go back to what makes you most comfortable. So that's why I warn people also, don't be so quick to make permanent decisions or commitments with people.
Agreed.
Because those people who are trying to get you into a permanent commitment or decision right away,
trying to fill in a blank.
No, they know they can't keep this up for long. It's wearing them out. They need you to. I remember dating someone who wanted me to have their child. Like we're dated. Like I was divorced with 4 kids at that time. But yeah, within a few months, have my child. This is so superficial. He truly had me as I'll buy you a Range Rover. Like I want to use.
You trying to purchase a baby?
Look, I want to use the word. I don't want to use the but we can use if we IQ. But I wanted to say you understand what I'm saying. But the ideal was if I can get her to have a child, she's locked in forever. She's locked in.
The Range Rover don't last 18 years.
That damn Range Rover wasn't gonna last no damn 18 years. But it was no way I was doing this. But the mentality, the thought was, if I get her to commit to a permanent, think about how many people go out here and have children.
Yeah.
That now you're tied to this person for the rest of your life, right?
Yeah.
The rest of that child's life. You're tied to this person. They go out here and make these permanent commitments with people. Without even forethought of saying, is this somebody I want to really deal with for the next, not even 18 years, because my oldest is 31, and you still, they're always, you're going to have marriages, grandchildren, all of that stuff. And so you have to understand when people are trying to get you to commit to move in together, to get married, to get engaged right away, to even say, oh, we in a committed relationship right away. Oftentimes it's because of this fear that if I don't get this person to commit in some way,
you're gonna lose them.
I'm gonna lose them, because when they start seeing who I really am, I can't stay here with this girl. I can't stay up at this level with this guy who's always so happy.
But isn't the reality, whether you married or not, you can still lose them?
Yeah, that's the reality. That's the truth. But so how many people stay in it and don't go anywhere?
I don't understand this whole trying to lock somebody in thing, because if I'm gone,
it's a trauma. It's a trauma response. It goes back to that trauma. When you want to lock somebody in, why? Because you're looking. What I found in a lot of folks that I dated over the years, especially when they saw I have 4 children, and I modeled raising my kids like my parents raised me. So I gave them love. I let them try things. I've had experiences with men that I dated, or even husbands, like I said, where there was an actual jealousy of how I was mothering my children because they did not get that level of mothering at that age. So there was an envy and a jealousy to see me pouring into my children, to see me nurturing my children, you know. Everything goes back to early childhood trauma.
Literally
Yeah,
everything.
everything goes back to the stuff you didn't get, the needs you didn't get met, the violations you may have had, you know, and how you're playing these out, you know, trying to rectify that in now these adult relationships.
But don't you think that there is a percentage of people that are, and I'll explain it after I say the statement, just doing what they want to do for real. Like, there's this movie called, I think it's called When the Bow Breaks. No, 85 millimeter or 35 millimeter. It's a Nicolas Cage movie where it's a serial killer they're trying to find. It's a killer they're trying to find, and it's through this whole, what would we call the dark web now. It was like black market porn type stuff. And he finally finds the guy, and the guy is very regular, and they get into a fight, and the guy's over Nicolas Cage. He said, I know what you think. I got a mental health issue, or my parents treated me this way. I went through trauma. I went through all of this, and yada, 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 yada. It's none of that. I live a regular life. This is just what I like to do. Do you think that sometimes people are just wired that way?
But that's mental illness. He just didn't see himself as having it. That's a personality disorder. That's some personality defect. Because if you get joy off of causing other people pain, there's something wrong with you. That's not just, I like just causing people pain. No, we gonna label that. There is a label for that in the DSM-5. Trust me. But most people don't even want to recognize that they even have trauma. Most people don't even, and I'm not one for putting labels on everything. Like you said, that word trauma is overused, misunderstood, you know. But the fact is, we all are impacted by our traumas. Because most of the people who talk in trauma on social media are talking about how everybody else is traumatized. You know, or they're looking at stuff happening to them now as their trauma, but not recognizing, you know, the dynamics you saw between mom and dad traumatize you as it relates to how you deal with relationships.
I can definitely wholeheartedly say that the way my mom loved taught me a lot about judging how somebody loves you. Because my mom wasn't the I love you, I'm gonna hug you type. And I had to learn that when my mom is expressing herself, she cooks for you. And she cooks your favorite stuff. And she makes sure she make it just how you like it. That's her saying, I love the shit out of you. And to me,
that's why you cry so much.
Probably.
When that happened to you.
Yeah, like that's.
Even though she didn't cook, she went through a lot of effort.
Like, to me, how many of us had somebody say I love you and then do you dirty?
Oh, yeah. Because there's as many definitions of love as there are people in this world. And again, when I asked you that question, what was your first example of love? Whatever your first example. And I know you said, you know, you mentioned Cosby, you know, which is fictional, you know, because you're only seeing that one time a week. You know, for 30 minutes during regular season, right? You mentioned your friends' parents, but they were just in a house, you know, a nuclear family. They did not even show love, right? So based on those two examples you gave, that's how you formulated your idea of what love is. Until you maybe got old enough and challenged that. You know, step 2 of my system is challenge what you know. So when you are, like you said, when your mom cooks, that was her way. My parents, as much as I said, we weren't the I love you, I love you, I love you family.
Oh, okay.
And but I knew I was loved just by everything. It wasn't the words. So words for me, I appreciate it. I like to be told I love. I'm learning from my partner now to even say that more to my children, you know, because I see him and his children, you know, always saying that.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I see it's important because even though I'm based on not necessarily always verbalizing I love you from my parents. I wasn't that parent always verbalizing I love you, but
Yeah.
I did everything that was proven. Everyone knows I love my children, right?
Yeah.
Love them to life. But I also recognize they need to hear that too. So even at this point, you know, with them, I'm saying it more often in the conversations, in the telephone calls. And that's new, but that's growth on my part.
Yeah.
Because I can say, they know they love me. Look, I put them through college. They know I love them. I put them through college. I, you know, sent them to study abroad. You know, all the stuff that I did, I could say that, but why not just say it? I remember, and then even in our culture, a lot of times our hesitation to even show or express love like that goes back to our history, right? When you think about, and again, going back to slavery times, when you think about if you show to show love, you have to show vulnerability.
Yeah.
You cannot have a healthy, good relationship if you're not allowing yourself to be vulnerable.
I agree.
So if you go back and you look at our, you know, historically, how families were torn apart. Here you are, you done found a partner you love, and now they're being sold off. Here you are, you got a whole family, you got children, your children being sold off. There's something called epigenetics where
you start protecting yourself.
Even trauma we didn't experience in our life, even trauma we didn't experience, we have a memory of the trauma our grandfathers, great-grandfathers, grandmothers, great-grandmothers, great-great-grandmothers experienced. We have a memory of that.
Right.
So for a lot of Black men and a lot of Black women, this strong exterior is that protection against the vulnerability that has plagued our culture for so long. So we have to now reframe this whole ideal of vulnerability and stop looking at it as a weakness, because if I fall in love with this woman and she's taken away from me, then what? If I fall in love with these children or I show them love and then they're ripped away from me, then what? We have to really start working on the historical trauma that we don't even realize impacts our romantic relationships.
And I think when you look at today's technology and the way dating is going, I think that what is reiterating those feelings is bad choices in people, the wrong shoes, because that wrong shoe is going to do all of them things you was worried about. And then now it makes it real. It's not generational trauma. It's like, no, this really happened.
Yeah.
And it keep happening. And I think it's because people are just true. I know I've chose some bad ones.
Yeah.
I know I made some bad choices, and it's like to the point I'm like, I don't even know how to even choose right other than take your time.
Do you understand why you made? Because if you can, like Cicero said, in the cause lies a cure. So if you can understand why you selected, then you can avoid continually to select that way.
They was all different. I can even give you some. The woman I had children with, when I'm married, I actually avoided her. And she pursued, and she literally was like, "You gonna be my man." And at that point, I wouldn't talk to pretty girls, because all the pretty girls I knew didn't have good personalities.
Is that why you avoided her?
That's why I avoided her, because she was pretty.
Okay.
And then
and why? And that came from somewhere, but we don't have to get into where that came from.
What I saw.
Okay.
You know,
growing up,
what
examples,
I saw.
Your examples.
Right. So now that's past trauma. We get married, and she was not good, like mentally abusive.
Yeah.
And it was like everything that I thought, now I'm seeing
it. Was confirmed.
It was confirmed. So later on, it was like, okay, you know, you start to grow, you start to learn yourself. And I'm like, I can't put it on. Like at this point now, I hate generalizations.
Yeah.
I don't do it no more. I hate when people do it. So I can't look at all pretty women like that. It was those pretty women that did that thing. But I can see how when somebody is given an idea whether it be from a past or social media or whatever, and then they see it, whether it's them experiencing it or their friend experiencing it, for them to see it and say, that's what's out here.
Yeah. Cognitive misers. You're not challenging.
Yeah.
You cannot just generalize like that. I hate generalizations because when I had couples to come in, men and women, you know, and let's just say the dynamic is the man is cheated.
Okay.
And the man doesn't want to come in and then he sees I'm a woman therapist. Oh hell, they both team up on me, right?
Yeah.
And typically by the time the session's over, the man is the one setting the next session. He wants to come see me again because it's not this automatically, okay, why did you cheat? You know, so let's get to the bottom of it because oftentimes in infidelity, there's accountability on both parts. Not just the person who committed the, you know, infidelity, but the other person. So I'll have women that come in, he cheated on me and he did this and, you know, and then you find out, you guys haven't slept together in 3 months. You know, why is that? Well, I have to do X, Y, and Z, or, you know, I have kids, or what. What do you expect? I'm just trying to help you understand.
Yeah. Not
to say that we are validating that this was okay for this person to do, but I surely understand why he did it. And at that point, the man is looking like, oh, she gets me, you know. So his generalization of, here's a woman therapist, she's about to team up on it, she's about to make me feel like shit, like my, you know, wife has been making me feel, that goes right out the window. Because we can explain everybody's behavior. And that's what most people don't want to do. You don't want to explain because everybody wants to be right. So you don't want to sit down and understand the whys of these you know, infractions that are occurring.
Yeah, so in conclusion, and this conversation can go for so long. I got so many questions. Like
now you got to write down some questions.
Like I really wanted to talk about what I see, all of these list of demands going on between man and woman. You know, well, you should be doing this and I can do that. It's like a business transaction or whatever. It trips me out. But in order to make good choices in a relationship, you have to deal with the trauma of growing up. And everybody has some sort of trauma of some shape or form. Other than that, it may not work.
Yeah. You have to recognize what was another question you can ask a person. And it's never too soon to ask this. How have you dealt with past traumas? You know, how have you dealt with your past traumas? Because not have you been traumatized? Yeah, we've all got some past trauma. You know, even though I had a healthy example of love, and then I later on in life in my adulthood got traumatized by the people who didn't have the healthy, you know, who wanted to. We all want to validate whatever our default setting is, okay? Whatever our belief system is, we want to validate. So if my belief system is, oh, life can be amazing, life can be great, we have the tools, with the right tools, we can build anything, even a better us, even a better relationship. If that's my belief system, I'm pulling evidence from wherever I can find it to present it to you. And I'm behaving that way to present it to you. If your belief system is every man cheats, you know, life sucks, there's no such thing as a happy relationship, don't believe that shit. If that's your belief system, you're going to pull examples from everywhere you can to support that. And that's how you're going to act in relationships. We have to, again, get a good understanding. For those of you out here, you know, you're looking for a partnership. And if you're truly, you got to be honest with yourself and ask yourself, are you looking for a healthy partnership? Or are you looking for the some example of love that you saw? But if you're looking for a healthy partnership, first work on yourself. Rediscover the truth of who you are. Challenge what you know. Challenge all that conditioning that you saw about love. How many women were were taught that sex was transactional. That's a whole nother show we can do. You
Lord
know
Jesus.
how many women that I've seen where they were raised to believe that sex wasn't for them to enjoy.
They were just giving it to
it was for them to use to get what they wanted out of a man.
Yeah.
And so think about if you go in a relationship at that point and now, you know, you give sex because maybe you want a new purse. You get that new purse and now you're not giving sex for 3, 4, 5 months, you know. And it's like, who taught you that and why do you believe that? So challenge a lot of these misconceptions, this faulty conditioning that you have. You know yourself, challenge and understand when you do challenge the stuff your mothers told you, your aunts told you, your grandfathers, fathers, you know, all the people in your family told you. When you challenge that, it's not to insult them. I'm not asking you to challenge them. You're not going to them. But I'm saying you have to really understand the time they were in or times they were in when this held true for them. And it doesn't have to hold true for you. Otherwise, you're going to continue to find yourself repeating the same old stuff.
So you said you always ask, have you dealt with your past trauma? I got a question that I've always asked people.
Okay, what's that?
I say, what is the worst thing you've done to somebody on purpose?
That's a good one.
And you know what somebody told me?
What's that?
They hit somebody in the head with a hammer. And I was gone.
Oh, good.
And speaking of gone, we gone. We got to do this again.
Okay, we definitely
because
will.
it is such a wide topic.
Yes.
Oh man, thank you for coming.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure.
I've been waiting to do this one.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah, we got to do this again.
Absolutely.